just got fed. Everybody's happy, and I'll try not to put anybody to sleep. I'm Parker Griffith, and I want to be your governor. I've had a great opportunity in Alabama. I was the first cancer specialist in North Alabama. I've been fortunate that my friends and neighbors elected me to the state senate and also to the U.S. Congress. Along the way, I heard the phrase, it's a phrase you all know, good government. It's a simple idea, good government. All of you know what I'm talking about, because at the county government level, that's where the rubber meets the road, literally. Good government is what all of you do in your counties. Pave the roads, fix the potholes, pick up the trash, fund the schools, support local businesses with infrastructure. Make life better for your community and the people in your community. But what happens when a government fails? The official definition of a failed state lists a number of conditions that are present in failed states. Erosion of legitimate authority, inability to provide public services, inability to interact with other states, widespread corruption and criminality. Does it sound familiar? Well, it should. If Alabama were picked up and moved to Africa, the international community might be tempted to call it a failed state under the aimless, even pointless, administration of Robert Bentley. Everyone in this room knows what I'm talking about. Many of you have already had to deal with the fallout from closed hospitals or hospitals that are struggling to stay open. Many of you in this room are aware that our schools are in trouble. Our teachers are not getting the support they need. Our children are struggling in a system that's being choked and bled dry. The current legislature passed the School Accountability Act, attacking public education at its very core, and our governors signed that legislation. All of you have felt the impact of an eroding tax base because of the failure of Robert Bentley to create jobs in Alabama. In fact, Alabama is the only state in the union with a rising unemployment rate. In every other state except Alabama, employment is rising. For the last 2 months, Alabama is the only state in the union with a rising unemployment rate. Now think about these signs of a failed state. The erosion of legitimate authority. That's happening in Alabama because our state government is so ineffective that local governments don't even look to Montgomery any longer for help. The Tea Party is so deeply rooted in the legislature that the government is paralyzed. 2 out-of-state billionaires, the Koch brothers, now have more sway over your government in Montgomery than any elected state official in this state. Another sign of a failed government, failure to provide public services. 10 hospitals have closed. Coosa County, no doctor, no hospital. Lamar County, no doctor, no hospital. And the list goes on. 10 hospitals have closed. 10 to 15 other hospitals are on the watch list. We understand that. County commissioners understand that. They hear it every day. People are literally dying for lack of health care. Only Mississippi has a higher infant mortality rate than Alabama. Now, I'm a cancer specialist. I understand the need for early diagnosis and early intervention. I was the first cancer doctor in North Alabama, set up the first cancer center there. I understand how critical it is for our people to have access to health care for early diagnosis, not just cancer, early diagnosis of diabetes, early diagnosis of hypertension. Another aspect of a failed state, the inability to interact with other states. The federal government is begging Alabama to expand and retool Medicaid. It means 30,000 jobs to Alabama. David Bronner said it's a no-brainer. Kaiser Foundation said it's a no-brainer. University of Alabama, Birmingham 300 to 500,000 people of Alabama that are working every day, whose companies don't provide health care, or they're making $7 or $8 an hour. Now you can multiply that times 2,080 hours a year. You know what 8 times 2,000 is? $16,000, $18,000, $20,000 a year. Our Alabamians are going without health care only because we have a governor that doesn't like who's in the White House. Now, I was there the night the Affordable Care Act passed. I was there that night. I voted against the Affordable Care Act. But there were parts of the Affordable Care Act that were good for us. And the expansion and the retooling of Medicaid was one of those good things. Both the Republicans and the Democrats agreed with that. 27 governors have agreed to expand Medicaid, but we have not here because we have a governor that's afraid of the Tea Party. Another aspect of a failed state is widespread corruption and criminality. We have corruption at the highest level of our government. There's a criminal investigation right now aimed squarely at the Speaker of the House. Another member of the legislature has already confessed to corruption and awaits sentencing. Corruption is eating at the core of our government. We all understand that. We know it. I was in the state Senate. I've been in the U.S. Congress. We all get it, what's going on up there. Yet Robert Bentley has remained silent, not a word. A sign of a failed state. Ladies and gentlemen, it really, truly, it pains me to say that Robert Bentley is a failed governor. There are solutions to our problems in our local communities. There are solutions. But Robert Bentley is so afraid of the Tea Party that he sits idle while Alabama burns. Today I launched the first statewide television commercials in my campaign. I lay out the problems and I offer solutions. No jobs, closing hospitals, failing schools. Governor Bentley is surrounded by corruption, and his silence offers a grim approval of that corruption that has reached to the highest levels of our government. Governor Bentley opposes the expansion of Medicaid, and Alabamians are dying as a result. 500 Alabamians will die this year in Alabama because we failed to expand Medicaid. At least 10 hospitals have closed, and the Alabama Hospital Association says there are 10 to 15 other hospitals on the watch list, and some of you out here that are listening to me know exactly what I'm talking about. Governor Bentley opposes an education lottery. You know, he's a nice guy, but this is serious for Alabama. Governor Bentley opposes an education lottery in spite of the fact that you can drive across every state line in any direction and buy lottery tickets that educate the children in somebody else's state. And we were promised 4 years ago that we were going to have a vote on the education lottery, and we have not had it yet. I want you and the people to know that it's time for us, it's time for me, it's time for y'all to wake up. We can't be the only state in the union with a rising unemployment rate. There's no reason for it. We need to wake up. We need to wake up, Alabama, because we've got the tools, we've got the brains and the creativity to change things. If we want to change Alabama, we've got to change Alabama at the top. My first day in office, and I mean when I walk out off the podium after being sworn in, I will call a special session of the legislature, and I will start the process to do the following. I will put before the legislature a proposal to have a statewide vote on an education lottery that will, over time, put hundreds of millions of dollars in our schools. I will put before the legislature a proposal to reform, retool, and expand Medicaid, create 30,000 jobs over 6 years, infuse $1.4 billion into our gross domestic product a year and save hundreds of lives. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the solutions. The only thing in our way is Robert Bentley. I'm for an education lottery. Robert Bentley's against it. I'm for reforming, retooling, expanding Medicaid. Robert Bentley's against it. My plan will create 30,000 jobs. Bentley's got the worst job creation record in America. We're the only state for 2 months in a row with a rising unemployment rate. Together, we can make Alabama better. I'm going to take this message to the people of Alabama, beginning today with a statewide television buy. I'm going to get the message out, and we're going to win in November because the people of Alabama agree with my positions. It's about our children. It's about looking across the kitchen table. It's about looking into the eyes of your grandchildren and your children and saying, can we do better here in Alabama? Now, Robert Bentley's going to come up here in a few minutes. He was supposed to be up here with me now, but we changed our plan for some reason. He's going to tell you the job numbers from the government are wrong. That's not as bad as they say. He's probably going to brag about some jobs that got created by the private sector that he had absolutely nothing to do with. But he's not going to tell you that he's for an education lottery. And he's not going to tell you he's for expanding Medicaid. The two things within his grasp that he could do today that would make a difference in every city, every town, every village, every hamlet in Alabama. An immediate difference. He won't do it because he's afraid. Robert Bentley's a nice guy. I've said that before. And he is a nice guy. But he's not a great man. I'm challenging Robert Bentley to 7 debates all across Alabama. Let's see if he has the courage to accept that challenge when he comes up here. That might tell you all you need to know. We all love Alabama. Got great cities, great people. We got a great history. We've struggled with the ideals of America, and we've made tremendous progress. Helen Keller and Rosa Parks are on the rotunda in the Capitol. The only state with 2 women in the Capitol rotunda. We have Lilly Ledbetter. We put rockets into space, a man on the moon. But making it all go were the people of Alabama. The God-fearing people of Alabama, from the Gulf Coast to the hills of North Alabama. I want Alabama to be better. I want Alabama to be great. And I will welcome all who come to the table with this. Democrats, independents, Republicans of goodwill, who will not allow themselves to be bullied and defined by Tea Party extremists. Alabama wasn't built by timid politicians. We've had some great politicians. Y'all know who they are. Whether it was Hill or whether it was Heflin, Sparkman. We've got plenty. We know what they can do for a community. But Alabama wasn't built by timid politicians like Robert Bentley. It was built by the blood, sweat, toil, and tears of millions of Alabama workers and business owners who took the risk, laid the brick, poured the concrete, raised the roofs, taught the children, built the ships, cared for the sick, fought our wars, raised our crops, and built the magnificent machines that took men into space. We all know, however, that good government played a role in all of those events. Government helped us build those roads. It helped us build those bridges. Funded schools, paid for our crop insurance, paid for our medical research. The Tennessee Valley Authority helped us pay for putting our men on the moon in the space race. America has always prospered when great state. Together, you and I, together, and the people in your communities, together, are going to make Alabama great again. I was in the state senate. I was on the prison committee. I know what you've been doing. I've been to every prison in Alabama. I understand that we're on the verge of a federal takeover. I understand that building new prisons is not the answer. I understand that we've got to change mandatory sentencing reform. I get that. I know we have to do that. Only 2 other states incarcerate more people per capita than Alabama. It's costing us a fortune. $30,000 a year for 33,000 prisoners. And I will say this about the prison system. We've got some of the best employees in the prison system that can do so much with so little for so long, over so many years, that it's amazing. It's amazing that we haven't had a huge disaster in Tuckwilder. If you've ever been to Tuckwilder, you know that if there was ever a fire there, we'd no way in the world we could get those people out of there. I was fortunate enough to serve in the U.S. Congress. I have the tools, I have the experience to move Alabama forward with your help. I know that we've gone through a difficult period. I know that Alabama's borrowed all the money it can borrow. We've bought all the jobs we can buy. If we are going to move forward and be the state we know we can be, we've got to have an educated children. We've got to have a healthy Alabama. We're second in infant mortality. We're 49th most unhealthy state in the nation. Our 8th graders are last in the nation in math. We're first or second in heart attacks. There's so much we can do, but we can't do it when we're divided. We can't do it with out-of-state billionaires running our legislature. We can't do it when the highest, most powerful officer in this state is under criminal investigation and his 2 lieutenants, one indicted, one going to trial, and more indictments on the way. It's time for us, Alabamians, and you guys know, and you girls know, and you ladies know, I've got 4 daughters, and they told me never to say girls out loud. I know that we can all do it together. Virginia and I have 5 children. We've got 12 grandchildren. My father was an orphan. Never finished the 8th grade. He raised 3 boys. My older brother's a doc. I'm a doc. My older brother's a doc. You can tell me believe in education. And so I'm happy to stand before you, asking for your vote, hoping that you will support me, knowing that I will work with everyone. And I so appreciate being here to see you all, so you can know my face, my name, and what I stand for. And I will be happy to answer any questions that